YouTube, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and today guys we are doing a deck profile for the new Purrely archetype. So we just finished our stream a while ago with the Purrely deck and it was amazing. So right off the bat, I would like to say thank you for Konami for putting the Purrely or some of the Purrely cards into rare or common in rarity, so that way it would be easy enough for us to craft those cards. And there are only like a couple of cards that are UR, so it's manageable. You can craft those cards out and then use the deck to its full potential. Also, to top it all off, I was really hoping that we will get a full-fledged Purrely deck, so we have it right here. They were not lacking in any cards whatsoever. I think the only cards missing now is just the Little Noir and the Shirley. But even with that, I think that this is still manageable. It is still a really good deck. And I tested this deck out in ranked and we got a lot of wins out of it. So for our main deck, we are running 3 copies of Purrely and then 3 copies of Lily. Now for our staples, we are only running 3 copies of Maxi, 2 copies of Called by the Grave, and then 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. The reason for this, we're not using Ash Blossom because we want to see either Purrely monsters or quick play spells rather than non-Purrely monsters or non-Purrely cards in general. An engine that we're using here is basically the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. So this will allow us to get a hold of our field spell once this card is in the graveyard, so it floats. Typically, you're gonna get a field spell and a copy of Cobalt Eagle. If ever you're going second and you basically have a copy of Santa Claus, it is a really good kaiju effect, a really good target for an anima, just to position it on a specific extra deck column. 1 copy of Prosperity, that way we can just excavate the cards that we can actually choose. 2 copies of your field spell, 3 copies of your continuous spell, Call by the Grave, 3 copies of Happy Memory, 3 copies of Pretty Memory, 3 copies of Delicious Memory, 3 copies of Sleepy Memory, and I think these are the only UR cards for your main deck. So the continuous spell, the My Friend Purrely, and then 3 copies of Sleepy Memory. By far, this card wasn't limited or semi-limited, so insanely good. We have this on full power. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, 3 copies of Rainbow Bridge, and 1 copy of Purrely Leap. This card can also float. Once in the graveyard, you can recycle back 3 Purrely monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck. So if you have a monster or an extra deck or ranked monster, you can shuffle it back. Extra deck wise, we're running 1 copy of Princess Sprite. Really good card. If you manage to excavate 1 spell or trap on your top deck, you can add it directly to your hand. If you have a quick play spell added, you can go with more materials to your Purrely monster. 1 copy of Ensemble Robin, just to bounce back cards from the field to your hand. Spell summon monsters, by the way. 1 copy of Happiness, 2 copies of Beauty. Now I'm torn between having a 1 copy of Beauty and then 2 copies of Happiness, but nevertheless, it's perfectly fine. The Happiness can instantly go into an OTK if your opponent has a 1/900 or less on his field. I think Decade already showcased that one with his VOD, so check that one out. 2 copies of Plump, 1 copy of Downward Magician, 1 copy of X Purrely Happiness, 2 copies of X Purrely Noir, really good card, I love this card. 1 copy of Zeus, 1 copy of Anima, 1 copy of Agent's Moon, and then 1 copy of Azalea. The Moon and the Azalea are popping 1 card. So that's basically it. We're gonna go towards the replays. I hope you enjoy this kind of replays. This is the Purrely archetype. Alright guys, so here we are with game number 1 with the Purrely deck. So we have 1 Purrely, 1 Santa Claus, 1 My Friend Purrely, 1 Happy Memory, and 1 Leap. So not really the best of hand to be starting off with a trap card as well. But nevertheless, our opponent is going first. So we have Kashtira Unicorn in the field. Search out a copy of Birth. So Birth is also a problem with our deck as well. It is a hard counter sometimes. But yeah, he's going to go for Birth, normal summoning the Amazement monster. And going into, shockingly, he's going for the Tomahawk. So I really think that he was going for the Auroradon play with a ton of combos. But it was kind of unique. So there we go, summoning the tokens to the field. And then he will sacrifice the Tomahawk and 1 token for an IP Masquerena on the field. With that, IP Masquerena on the field, he will go with Link Spider. Yeah, he will go with a Link Spider. And then he will go with Hitleo or Hitso. Hitso was it? Hitso. Hitso. So that allows him to draw 1 more card. Insanely good for him. And then the 3 cards, he will go into the Auroradon. So a really good combo here. So Aurora Dawn to the field, summon the tokens to the field. Tribute 1 and itself. Spell summoning, I think is gonna go with the Cupid Pitch here. So there we go. Cupid Pitch on the field. And with that Cupid Pitch, increase its level. Going for Boral Savage. There we go. Boral Savage Dragon on the field. And with the help of Birth, I was really worried if he has Thunder Dragon Colossus, but he hasn't, so that's really good. And with that, he will go for Burst, spell summoning the Unicorn to the field, and that is with one back row. So that is the board we're trying to break here. Luckily, we have it. We have our board breaker. So Santa Claus on the field, destroying the Boral Savage. Use the effect of my friend Purrely. We will get, of course, Snow Rabbit here, so our continuous spell will be destroyed. We'll normal summon our Purrely, trying to get a copy of a card, or trying to excavate, but we got Ash Blossom. Our opponent is going to use this card here. He's going to get one trap card from his deck and set it on the field. That card can be used during that turn, so he's going to target my Purrely monster here. There we go. And like I said, hard counter for Kashtira's, by the way. So yeah, they can just easily remove cards from our extra deck or the monster on our field. So annoying as it is, but yeah. So the trap card will target my monster and get a copy of one Amazement monster that is a level 7. We will go with our Plump here from our Delicious Memory on hand. Plump will use the effect, get a hold of 2 spell or traps from either graveyard, attach it to him. Use the effect of our Happy Memory, attach it to the Plump, or absorb it with the Plump, I mean. And with that, use the effect of our Happy Memory. So we'll summon our Lily, get a copy of our field spell, which is insanely good. So our field spell will be there, and then use the effect of our Lily to go into an Anima. And like I said, they need to have a really good positioning for his monsters. So Anima on the field, getting a hold of our Unicorn, going for Noir with 6 materials on it, and then going for attack. So 500 on our opponent's life points. And during our end phase, we have attached a copy of a second copy of, was it the second copy? No, our first copy, of course, of Sleeping Memory. So we can draw 1 card during our opponent's turn. And with that, Noir is unaffected because it has 5 or more materials. So during our turn, we got a copy of Maxi, and he will just normal summon a copy of Amazement. So at this point on, he cannot spell summon any Kashtira monster because of Hit Leo on the field, or Hit Soul on the field. Why Hit Leo? Hit Soul on the field. So he can just normal summon the Amazement, but he can just normal summon the another level 7 here. So, but he chose into Amazement. What we do here is just remove the Amazement here, and that is basically it. That is his only out there. Alright guys, for our next game, we have 2 Santa Claus, 2 Delicious Memory, and 1 copy of Rainbow Bridge, and we're going first. This is not really a good starting hand. We can do with a level 4 or lower because our Delicious Memory needs a monster in the field, but we don't have any, so we're just passing our turn here. So our opponent is going first, and we're going up against a mirror match here, so really bad for us. If ever he has like more than 9 or 10 materials on a monster, he can basically destroy me with just an X Purrely Happiness. But yeah, Purrely on the field, excavating a card, getting a copy of Happy Memory. Happy Memory is going to be activated, targeting the Purrely with discarding a Maxi. Insanely good. Purrely in the field, getting a copy of the continuous spell. Continuous spell will search out 3 copies of Delicious Memory. He'll just add 1, of course. Use the effect of Purrely monster, reveal the Delicious Memory, and going for the Plump. So there we go. Plump on the field. With the Plump, attaching 2 cards in the graveyard. And there we go. So he has 1, how many cards that he can do? That's the second copy of Sleeping Memory on the field. So he's going to attach that to the Plump, allowing him to draw 2 cards during my turn. And with that, spell summoning up a Purrely monster in the field. Luckily, he didn't get any quick play spell during that excavate. So Happiness on the field. So with 7 materials, and then with the 2 level 1s going for the Ensemble Robin here. So with that, you can go for battle. Deduct 1,500 from the burn and 4,300. with 1,000 from the Robin. During my turn, this is really bad for us, but luckily we have the Santa Claus here. So, and we draw into also a Garnet. So to top it all off, it's really bad. And our opponent during our turn, he's gonna go for Plum from the Leap. There we go, attaching 2 more materials from it, going for 9 materials on the Plum. And then drawing 2 cards because of the Plum. So there we go. We will Santa Claus that Plum. He'll then retrieve 3 quick play spells from the graveyard because Exi monster was sent to the graveyard. That is a Purrely. And then we'll go for another copy of Santa Claus with the alignment on the extra monster zone. We'll use it later on because of Anima. So he'll retrieve back the monsters in the graveyard back to the deck. Go for the Delicious Memory, spell summoning the Lily, getting a copy of the Continuous Spell. Continuous Spell will then get us a copy of either the Purrelys, the 2 Purrelys, or the Pretty Memory. So we got the Pretty Memory, that's really good. Spell summoning the Purrely monster to the field. Excavate the cards. Sadly, we didn't get any quick play spell. We'll go for the Plum here from the Lily. And with the Lily, get a copy of 2 more spell cards since we have abundant cards in our both graveyards, I mean. So that's good. Attach 2 to the Plum. And then attach 1 monster on our opponent's end here by sacrificing our continuous spell. With Anima on the board, we will control 1 monster that was ours, and then normal summon our very own Cobalt Eagle. We go for Purrely Happiness, and that is game. So there you go. Burn for 1/5 with 6/100, and then 1/400. So that is game. Really good game. Alright guys, so this is our last game, and we have our Lily, 1 My Friend Purrely, 1 Delicious Memory, 1 Infinite Impermanence, and 1 Leap. So our goal here is to summon our Noir to the field with more than 5 materials. So let's go. So our continuous spell is going to be activated first. Getting a hold of our 2 Sleepy Memories and 1 Street. We got a copy of the Sleep here. Normal summon our Lily. Get a copy of the Purrely Street. So that's good. We use the effect of Sleepy Memory, spell summoning our Purrely monster, excavate a card. We managed to get a copy of Happy Memory, so that's good. We use the effect of Lily, get a copy of Delicious, and we'll go into the Plum. So that way we'll gain more materials from the Plum from our graveyard, since our opponent did not drop any spell traps. So we go for Happy Memory and absorb it with our Plum. There we go. Target 1, spell summon another Purrely monster, excavate our top deck, and we got a copy of another continuous spell. So not really the best, but nevertheless, it's perfect fine. And with that, with our Purrely Plum, well, Purrely Plum, we can. Was it Purrely? Purrely. Purrely, you can get another 2 cards from our graveyard. Our Prince of Sprite did not get us anything, so might as well gonna go for the Noir here in defense position with 6 materials. So that's really good. During our end phase, we got a copy of another Sleepy Memory, allowing us to have 2 cards during our draw phase. Or standby phase, I mean. So there we go. We got Called by the Grave and a Purrely monster for a follow-up on the next turn. Our opponent is going to spell summon his Fenrir in the field. We will imperm that. And then, shockingly, he's going to normal summon the... to call this? Ronin Totem. So you need to banish that if he is using sprites. His only go-to plan here is just going to destroy my monster. During his end phase, we'll get another material. Okay, so during our turn, we got another material added to the Noir. Use the effect of Noir, sending 1 card to our field to the graveyard, absorbing the Fenrir. Use the effect of a continuous spell that we had earlier, and then reveal a copy of the Pretty Memory, get a copy of Pretty Memory, and normal summoning our Purrely. So that is basically it. People are just scooping into this deck because it is just annoying and very strong. So that is it. Let's go back to the outro. Alright lads, so those were the replays, and that is the deck profile for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed this kind of video. Like and subscribe for more contents like this. The next time we'll be talking about Galaxy Eyes. I'm still testing the deck out. It is very frustrating because it's not really doing well in the meta nowadays. But yeah, hopefully we'll showcase that one in the near future, and that's me signing off. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, lads.